and welcome to PBM Investments daily podcast. So we're going through a few things. It's quite a lengthy one. We're going through the key news first of all, and then we'll go through a bit of detail about the investments I'm doing and the portfolio I've created on the demo platform on IG. So firstly, we'll go through the details and the news for the week that you should be thinking about. So, UK goods for the EU actually fell by 40.7%. That's because of the national statistics records. So, because of Brexit, we've had a few issues with trading with the EU. And these are the types of things that we need to be aware of because obviously trade with our closest partners affects everything. It affects food, medicine. We're just a tiny island and we get most of our trade through them. Obviously, trade going the other way, so us giving them actual goods has actually dropped as well to 28.8%. So these are the lowest records since 1997. So be careful if there's any rise in any sort of raw materials, any sorts of food prices, because obviously we don't have a trade agreement with the EU, and who knows how long that might last. High Court in London has ruled that Barclays has to pay 33.6 million, part of their actual court case fees that they paid towards fighting the case raised by Amanda Staveley's group PCP, in which it was about the 2008 Qatar fundraising. Basically, the High Court has actually ruled that Barclays was actually at fault. In fact, as I quote, they were guilty of serious deceit. So they have to pay 33 million. It's also a good thing to be aware of that the banks are still doing dodgy deals. Also, Roblox, the actual computer game, the virtual computer game, online computer game, what's it called? The online computer game platform that allows players to have these kind of boxes. Never played it, but they've IPO'd. So they went on to New York Stock Exchange earlier on this week. Literally, I think that's going to be the future, to be fair to you, even though I'm not a gamer itself. Virtual playing, online games, lots and lots of people from all over the world coming together on these platforms to play games. It's going to be the future. And obviously during lockdown, things like Fortnite, World of Warcraft, all these types of games, because we have so much time indoors. That's a lot. These are the things that a lot of people are grasping towards or going towards. And that's IPO'd quite well. It's actually worth, I think it was around 17 billion or 15 billion, something along those lines. So quite a lot of money. So well worth looking into in a bit more detail. Next, Vodafone. As I said to you before in the earlier podcasts earlier on this week, their Vantage company, Vantage Towers, they're going to IPO that particular side of the company. It's going to be it's the UK's largest tower company. It has, as I said to you before, 82,000 masts over the course of 10 markets, but we've got some more details. They're going to be looking to do the IPO range between 22.50 and 29 euros. And if they get that over in Frankfurt, the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, not the London Stock Exchange, that's where they're trading, over in Europe. If they do that, they'll be trying to raise 17 billion. That's the aim. So quite a lot of money. And finally, just before we go through the details of the the PBM index and the various companies that have done well over the course of that week, keep an eye on lithium, nickel, and cobalt. These particular minerals and metals, should I say, are very key for batteries. So I said to you a few weeks ago, that Tesla, Elon Musk, bought a company that specialized in a lithium mine, basically, which is going to be key for him to maintain electric batteries and improve on his electric batteries by having a supply. According to a report, prices have been going up and up because the demand to reach these zero emission targets that a lot of countries have put on companies is increasing the demand to have these batteries and therefore have the materials to create these batteries. So keep an eye out on lithium, nickel, and cobalt. And finally, Nordstrom. I'm going to go through the US first, companies that have done well and how much they've gone. Eurozone, and then the UK. Nordstrom was up 9.52%. Viacom was up 8.71%. L Brands was up 8.45%. Colliers was up 6.12%. Discovery up 5.48%. And Ultra Beauty was down 7.27% as well. Let's go through Europe. One company was up, KBC was up 5.20%. In the UK, Burberry was up 6.87%, and Berkeley Holdings was down 5.82% as well. The last two bit of news, before I show you my demo account and show you the details of what I'm trading and how it's actually going, the two bit of news, one, Hammersmith, or Hammerson, the shopping centre owners that include Brent Cross and also Birmingham's Bullring, have posted a pre-tax loss of 1.7 billion because of COVID and obviously various other lockdowns. Now, the shopping centre owners not just operate shopping centres in the UK, but all over Europe. Now, obviously, over the course of the last lockdown and COVID in 2020, should I say, no one's been shopping much because they're not being able to go. And even before COVID, a lot more people were going online rather than going into shopping stores. So the prices have, well, if you've seen the company's stock price, it's actually been plummeting since 2016, I'd say. But have a look into it. Maybe there is room for more losses, or there's room for a nice little bargain buy. Who knows? And finally, 23 billion that has been put into England's track and trace for COVID. So I didn't know it was 23 billion, first and foremost, that's a lot of money. But this track and trace that we all have for figuring out where we are when we were obviously in pubs or able to go to pubs, or where we were going, just to keep an eye on the infection and where the rates would spike and things like that. The UK's watchdog has looked into it and found they didn't work. So he's paid 23 billion into it, and it didn't work. So this is a type of news that is, shall we say, something that we should be looking at. That, and obviously EU trade and things like that, and the deficits that we've actually been uncovered, rather than just focusing on what Meghan Markle has to say. Just saying, these things do affect us. Meghan Markle and what she was going through. Maybe as sad as it was, and as sensational as it was, and as a welcome distraction as it was, it's not the be-all and end-all. Thank you very much. Later on now, please hang on. I'll go through my portfolio on the demo account and give you an idea of what I'm actually trading and what I'll be trading in the future. Hello. So basically, as promised, I was going to show you some of the positions that I have open on the demo account. So if it's a bit shaky, if you have a quick look up there, BHP Group BLC. So that's the only one that's been shorted. Now, a lot of these positions were opened up a week ago. So a week ago to 10 days ago. So all of them are in a profit. So BHP Group PLC LSE. Why did I open this up? Normally because, let's have a look at the chart. Towards the right. So basically, there was just a hint of, well, all major highs up here. I just figured there'd be a small profit. So as you can see, it kind of topped out around here, and then there was a down day, and there's a bit of, if you go further down in the chart, hang on. So if we go further along in the chart, so there's a ceiling there, if you can see where my mouse is there. So there's a powerful resistance there. It broke through, and then it was testing it again around here. And so I think that's around the point where I thought, you know what, if it breaks through this barrier of support, chances are it's going to continue to go down. So if it did go beyond that barrier, I decided to get in. So it's only a small profit, as I say, of $12.50, and that's the reason why I got involved. The next few are quite simple. So Morrison's, Penn Group, Weir Group, Renshaw PLC. So them next five are the reason why I got involved in these and why they are the size of £10 per point. And as you can see, The profit of Morrison's supermarket, it was £45.30. Penn and Group, 379. Weir Group, £650 profit. Renshaw, 2,100. I'll go on to US Tech in a second. But the reason why those, I'd say 4, are up and running is quite simple. Every quarter, the FTSE 100 and 250 do a review of the FTSE 100, for those that are not aware, are the 100 largest companies trading in the UK stock exchange. The FTSE 250 and the next 250 companies below that. Now what happens is every quarter they do a review. So they review which companies go up into the FTSE 100 from the 250 and which ones will get demoted down from the 250 to the 250 from the 100. Now, because of, there's various reasons why these particular companies do well or sometimes they don't do so well. And it's something to do with fund managers. Now, fund managers need to keep a certain amount of money floating in the markets, i.e. FTSE 100 or on the bonds or in commodities. And what happens is they choose certain companies within the FTSE 100 and 250 and they all share to have as part of their funds or to have them invest in. Now, when they get demoted from the FTSE 100 or the 250, what happens is they have to get rid of them normally because they're getting demoted and it's not as good on their portfolio, because the reason why companies get demoted from the FTSE 100 is because they're not doing so well. So what they want to try and do is maximize their profits for their clients, so they get rid of the companies that are not performing well. But these companies are normally heavily weighted, which means that they're normally very good companies. They're just going through a sticky patch maybe for the quarter or for that particular month, which means there's normally a good chance to get a profit because normally what happens is they need to be rebalanced. And that's one of the reasons, and that's a little quick strategy for you. For the quarterly review, which happens every March, every 3 months basically, throughout the year, check out the companies that get promoted and demoted and basically trade them. So normally just buy them. So you could buy them, buy shares in them, or as I've done, literally put a bet on them. And at the moment, for the first week or so, it's doing very, very well. Now, US Tech is literally, it's the NASDAQ 500. So ING call it US Tech 5, US Tech 100. So if we go to the right, as I said to you before, normally, and again, this was a week ago, normally what happens is there's anything that's a sharp increase or sharp decrease, normally there's what's called a rebalancing of the actual graph itself. So if you have a quick look at what's happening here, so over the course of the last few days, I'm not too sure when that was. So early on in February, it was going up and up and up and up and up. Could be because of the inauguration of the new president. That could be part of it. But it's a sharp increase. And what normally happens is a rebalancing effect of a sharp decrease. So this is where, around here, where my mouse is kind of circling, is where I thought, well, there could be a rebalancing to go back up and test a support. Bear with me. Zero out. So if you can see here, there's something going on here. So there's a support because there's a lot of consolidation, and the price kind of bounces back from the ceiling, and even sometimes when it breaks through, as you can see, it kind of tests that support. So what happens is that it was testing it earlier on, and I figured it was either going to go one of two ways. It was either going to go, if I zoom in, around this section we're looking at, so it was either going to touch it and break through, which means that there's a large amount of volume of stocks being traded, which means that it's going to continue to go down, or it's going to test it and bounce back up. So I put this position, I put 2 positions down, which you can do. So you can put a position in to trade, to shorten it or to buy. And obviously, once it was around that price, I did 2 positions. So whichever way it was going to go, I was going to get involved. So it chose the buy position. So if we zoom in, around here is where I got involved. So it went into buy, then there was a short, then it was short again. Like I say, I put my stop around here. It's always good to have stop losses as well, just to obviously protect yourself. And it rose back up throughout the week. And we'll see what happens for next week. But again, if you see here, I have a stop and a limit. Always have a target price, unless it's the quarterly review, which means you hold it for a quarter. So literally 3 months and then you get rid of it, no matter if it's a profit or a loss. So that's why Morrison's, Pennon Group, Weir Group and Renshaw are going to disappear regardless of whether it's a profit or not in 3 months' time. Simple as that. So let's have a look at the history, because the history is pretty important as well of the last few times I have been trading. So let's have a look. Let's try and go to the full history, just to give you an idea of an average trading that I do and what type of things and the reasons why. Because it's important to show that not every trade is a profit and not every trade is a loss. So let's show the history. So here we go. So with many short, with many with many spread bets, you have to keep. It's a bet. It's a position. So to keep those positions open, you need to pay a certain amount to keep these positions open. So that's why you've got like £7.14, 15p, 3p. So just be aware of that if you do any spread betting. So let's have a quick look. Over the last 30 days, these are the positions that have not done well. So as you can see it all, most of these have not done well. So the BE Semiconductor Industries was a loss. So it got stopped out at 237. Cas Minerals was another one that I was looking at. I think that was to buy, and that got stopped out around £17. So for the last, you can see that it started from the 9th of March. As I said to many people before, I reopened the demo account because I had a few issues with ING. So that's why it's only been for a few days. But if you look at it, 237, 250, call it 260. But if you look to the right, we got a profit of 3,394 at the moment. It's only at the moment. So who knows where it'll be after that. Later on, I'll tell you about the new positions I'm opening up and why. But at the moment, that's what's going on. Thank you for watching.